November 13th started out like any other day for window washers Juan Lezama and Juan Lopez. But by lunchtime, they were dangling outside the 69th floor of our country's tallest building, One World Trade Center. It took nearly 2 hours and 90 responders to save them, including the brave firefighters of Rescue Company 1. They were the ones who cut the glass and pulled the men to safety. As we continue our Employee of the Week series, I can't think of anyone more deserving than our heroic firefighters.
In the beginning, it was panic and pretty much survival, try to instinct for a few minutes. After that, kind of clear your mind and try to get hold of the situation.
Juan Lopez and his partner Juan Lezama had just gotten to work, ready to clean the windows of the recently opened One World Trade Center, when a freak scaffolding malfunction gave them the scare of their lives.
When the scaffold stopped, I get my phone, I call my wife and say, something happened.
To the shock of onlookers below, the two men dangled perilously outside the tower, way up on the 69th floor, for more than an hour.
They saw the firefighters and they saw the rescuers and they knew that they were going to be okay.
But because the trade center was built with thick triple-pane glass, it took nearly 90 rescuers using special tools to cut through the windows and finally pull the two relieved men to safety.
We're the best qualified agency in the city to deal with high-angle rescues.
Please welcome the men of Rescue Company 1, Lieutenant William Ryan, Tim Garrity, Matthew Murphy, Kevin Croft, Ronald Jean, and Christopher Galrath. The lieutenant here just looked at me and went, all right, okay, you know, this, I know, because for you, it's a day's work, but for us, particularly New Yorkers, to witness what happened on that day, November 13th, and what heroes you all are on a daily basis, gives us pause. You deserve the applause that we, so accept it. Exactly.
Speaking for the whole fire department, thank you.
That day, November 13th, you get the call that there's something terribly wrong at One World Trade Center. What is the first thought that goes into your mind, Lieutenant?
You want to find out what's going on, you know, as much information as possible. We get a ticket, they would call like on the MDT, and we get like a printout. And it just gives you basic information. It was workers suspended in the 50th floor, and we weren't sure north or south side of the building at that point, and just trying to break down where they are and what exactly happened. You know, we're a good distance away in Midtown, trying to make our way down. So as we're going down, the guys are getting dressed. They're preparing, you know, for either a high-angle operation or possibly what we wound up doing later. But, you know, we have a series of tools we use, and they started going into those compartments and started getting ready. What
you ended up doing later, and Matthew, you were involved with this, was cutting the glass, literally cutting a hole. Your foot actually dangled outside the window. I mean, were they panicked at all, the window washers?
No, they were okay.
They were okay?
Yeah, they were fine.
So what was your biggest concern then?
Our concern is that we just don't want to drop any glass.
We did make a pretty substantial cut, but along the sides and the bottom was kind of uneven, like rough cuts. So there's a lot of sharp glass coming through. And with the scaffolding moving and the guys coming back into the building, it was just a concern of ours getting them inside without really, you know, getting cut up pretty bad.
How many of you were down there at 9/11?
4 of us.
4 of you? Tim, were you one of the ones down there? Yes. And Tim was one of the ones down there, and you lost your brother that day,
yes,
I understand,
yes, I did.
trying to save other people's lives, a true hero. At any point during the day on November 13th, did you have a flashback to that day? I mean, I would think emotions would be pretty strong when you're back in that location.
As you're there, without a doubt, you start thinking about it. But, you know, like Tim would have an angel on his wing that day. You know, his brother's there helping him. And we all believe that, you know, that it's sacred ground for us, like going to the Battle of the Bulge or to the Alamo. And it means that much to us, you know. So our way of honoring the guys in the whole fire department is to do the job right. And we believe we did that, and that's the best way to pay tribute to the guys from our perspective. And
you had a lot of angels.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had a lot of angels that day. And you know, Lieutenant, I know all of you guys wanted to make a point. You mentioned to our producer, Abby, you wanted to make a very clear point here that it wasn't just the 6 of you.
No.
It was 90 rescuers, I
yeah,
believe, 90 responders.
Go ahead.
No,
there's a lot of moving parts. a lot of special units. Squad 18 was gigantic. Tremendous effort from those guys.
I was joking with our firefighters behind the set that I was going to give them all Windex to say thank you for what they do that day. But we're not going to do that. We have something else in mind. I know that you guys are on the road most of the time. You rarely get to sit down and have a nice meal. Although I know firefighters are among the best chefs, really good cooks. But anyway, we wanted to honor you. So Legends Bar and Grill, which is a great place in New York City, is sending over dinner for the whole team. And we're also donating $2,500 to the FDNY Foundation. Our way of saying thank you to all you guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Lieutenant's okay. I know. It's hard to get this much attention, but boy, you guys deserve it. If you know someone who deserves to be our Employee of the Week, go to meredithvieirashow.com and tell us why.